Hi folks, thanks for watching my monologue. As you may have heard, there's been a recent run on guns and ammunition. I just wanted to let you know that Guns Etc. is in a 10,200 square foot building which holds a lot of guns. So Guns Etc. is open and has a lot of product. Or you can go to gunsetc.com, that's gunsetc.com. And if you like my monologue, please subscribe to our channel using 960 The Patriot. Well, good afternoon and happy May 7th, and it is a happy May 7th for a lot of reasons we'll get into shortly. But as we get to our penultimate monologue on commencements, again, because I will give mine tomorrow, there is the form we have not discussed, and that is the humorous commencement address. Great truths are revealed or can be revealed in humor. A truth buried in a joke is actually what makes it funny, because we can relate to it. Think for a moment about any stand-up act you've been to with someone. At one point or more, I'm sure you nudged your friend or loved one at the end of a joke or end of a bit saying, "That is so true," right? Humor has been with us as humans since the beginning. Encouragements to it and certainly, too, objections and instructions against it. And just like any truth being told, jokes and humor have their time and place and manner. Scholarly histories of humor will point to it as the tool, one of the best tools of subversion and plays and speeches, ways to take on power by using satire or semblances of fiction about leaders where direct argument would not be appreciated or tolerated, perhaps even criminalized. Today you don't see much of that anymore. Of course, Shakespeare and hosts of others knew it well. But there are other kinds of truths and subversions told and committed in commencement addresses when they are well done. And for that, there is, of course, the great master of it, P.J. O'Rourke. There are two commencements of his I thought worth sharing, but this one is from an address in 2014. He didn't actually give it to Rutgers University, but he wrote it to them after students there effectively banned Condoleezza Rice from giving a commencement they originally invited her to give. It's going to offend a bit, but I love it, and it's going to take me 2 segments, but I think you'll like it a lot. And we will deal with coronavirus and Michael Flynn and so many other things today, too. But first, some honest truth that I want to share with you, as P.J. O'Rourke tried to share with the graduating class of Rutgers. It's a shame, he said, Condoleezza Rice couldn't be here. You might have heard something useful from a person who grew up poor in Jim Crow, Alabama, who lost a friend and playmate in 1963 when white supremacists bombed Birmingham's 16th Street Baptist Church, who became an accomplished concert pianist before she tuned her ear to more dissonant chords of international relations. Secretary Rice was Phi Beta Kappa at the University of Denver and received a B.A. cum laude in political science back before the worst grade a student had ever heard of was a B-. The professor who influenced her most was Joseph Corbell, Secretary of State Madeleine Albright's father. Secretary Rice got a master's in political science from Notre Dame, a Ph.D. in political science from Denver, and in the meantime was an intern at the Carter administration State Department and the Rand Corporation, and studied Russian at Moscow State University. She rose from assistant professor to provost at Stanford, ranked 5th best university in America. You're ranked 69th. While she was doing that, she also served from 1989 to 1991 as the Soviet expert on the White House National Security Council under President George H.W. Bush. 1989 happens to be when the Berlin Wall fell. I know. Most of you weren't born, and you get your news from TMZ. A wall falling over can't be as interesting as Beyonce's sister punching and kicking Jay-Z in a New York hotel elevator, but that 1989 moment of something there is that doesn't love a wall, and I'll bet you a personal karaoke performance of Beyonce's Single Ladies put a ring on it that you can't name the poet who wrote that line, had interesting consequences. Stop taking selfies and Google Berlin Wall on the iPhones you're all fiddling with right now. Condoleezza Rice was named National Security Advisor in December 2000, less than a year before some horrific events that you may know of. She became Secretary of State in 2005 during an intensely difficult period in American history, which your teach-in was not going to teach you about. And she saw the job through to the end of the fraught and divisive George W. Bush presidency. making moral and ethical decisions of such complex and contradictory nature that they would have baffled Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, of whom I suppose perhaps naively you have heard. You've made complex and contradictory moral and ethical decisions about serving beer to freshmen during Greek week and whether to stealthily Google Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle during your Philosophy 101 exam. Some of your professors don't believe that Secretary Rice would be worth listening to. Some believe you need to be taught to disapprove of her morals and ethics. I am quoting you, your State Star Ledger newspaper. Quote, attending the teach-in against Secretary Rice will be a strong signal that we will not sit quietly while a small group of irresponsible people dishonor our beloved university, said history professor Rudolph Jingle Bell. It is to be hoped poor Rudolph doesn't have a very shiny nose. Anyway, you might have heard something good from Secretary Rice. You'll hear nothing good from me. Here you are, graduating from Rutgers, which is, as I mentioned, the 69th best university in America. Maybe Rutgers should add more vegan selections to its cafeteria fare. U.S. News and World Report scorekeepers go for that kind of thing. Actually, you're tied for 69 with Texas A&M, an NFL first-round draft with a small college attached. Your most famous alumni are Garrett A. Hobart, 24th Vice President of the United States, Ozzie Nelson of Ozzie and Harriet, Mr. Magoo, and 7 former governors of New Jersey. Given the recent history of that office, I promise not to tell anybody. And you just wasted $100,308 on tuition fees and room and board, assuming you were able to zip through Rutgers in a mere 4 years. Although you only wasted $53,996 if you were living in your parents' basement. But you wasted $156,404 if you're one of those bridge and tunnel people from out of state. Let's call it 100 long. Approximately 14,000 of you are graduating this year. That's $1.4 billion wasted. Why do I say wasted? Those of you who are know why. Those of you who, for reasons unfathomable, are sober on this occasion may need it explained. I have done research. I used the same tools for deep and comprehensive understanding that you used for your essays and term papers, Wikipedia, and random internet searches. According to the National Association of Colleges and Employers, at least as reliable as a source as the National Association of Cats and Dogs, the average starting salary for a newly graduated BA is $45,633. Not bad, you say. There's almost rent and car payment in that after taxes, but after starting salary assumes you're salaried. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, only 75% of college graduates are in the labor force. Maybe the rest are on a grad school full ride getting a PhD in string theory. There's a reason to doubt it. A study by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York shows 44% of recent college graduates are underemployed. A report in The Atlantic claims half of those recent graduates are working in jobs that don't require a degree. And in a National Center for Education Statistics survey, 40% of 25 to 34-year-olds with student loan debt say they are unemployed or underemployed, making me wonder if you can spell KFC. The Consumer Finance Protection Bureau puts the total U.S. student loan debt at $1 trillion. The average college student, look up here, that's you, graduates owing $24,301 in student loans, never mind your credit card balance and the second mortgage your parents took out on the house. 10% of graduates owe more than $54,000. Nearly 42% of graduates are still paying off college loans between the ages of 30 and 50. Among the debtors, 14% are behind in student loan payments, and 13.4% of all student loans are in default. Therefore, you, if you're lucky enough to become a full-time or future taxpayer, will be burdened with $134 billion of other people's student loans, as well as what you owe. He has more, I have more, and we'll do it when we come back. You don't want to miss it, and we'll be right back.